I have only one thing to say regarding this decision.
I immediately regret this decision.
Very much. But anyway, allow me to bring in my wonderful guests, starting with the man who needs no other introduction but his name.
The current Wolf Lord of the Space Wolves is Logan Grimnar, also known as the Old Wolf. He rules from the Hall of the Great Wolf, together with his Wolf Lords such as Herald Deathwolf, Eagle Ironwolf, and Bjorn Stormwolf.
All I got out of that was wolf, 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 and wolf.
The Space Wolves are incredibly uninspired.
I 100% emulate both excited and I regret it.
Yeah. And welcome our kitty girl / Zelda fan.
Good afternoon, all. Ready for nightmare?
Hello there, Mistress Neph.
Hello. Welcome.
I'm glad to see you are in good health.
I see you are a lady of good taste.
Of course I am.
I recommend you do not flirt with the lady as such.
Oh, I didn't say that. I was thinking her blood tastes good.
Are we about to go Twilight on this stream?
No. His avatar is a vampire. A proper vampire.
Good, because if you started sparkling, I would immediately start getting the crosses. I don't care if I'm a...
The thing is, Twilight vampires are not real vampires, so crosses don't work on them.
Yeah.
Wait, really? What does work on them?
Darkness within darkness
just
awaits
tearing them apart. That's the only way to kill them. So
yes.
And you call these things vampires, and you include none of the weaknesses except sunlight.
And even that doesn't work. Well, anyway, allow us to bring in our armored mech, Ekman.
The menace.
I have come to suck your Minovsky particles.
You realize that does not bug me at all. I don't care.
Darkness awaits you, Riku.
Well, if you don't have Minovsky particles, they can just step on you.
I mean, the story behind Kingdom Hearts is kind of meh, but the gameplay is really, really fun.
Hamon works excellently on all vampires. I am aware of that, after all. You can never beat the power of the sun. And he's rippling abs. Seriously, pre part 4, all the JoJo male characters look like they could bend steel with just a flex. That's something that Kaiju God said. All the way back on one of the first Spartan Cast stream. Yeah.
Cool.
It's very much true. They all were really, really buff. But like they put on that picture of Arnold Schwarzenegger, like that picture of Arnold Schwarzenegger where they just flexing. That's where that's where you can compare them to on the rate of how muscular they are.
Didn't we have a topic to go over?
Yeah.
No,
we do. We do. We're reading Framing Monsters, which is why I asked if you were ready for more nightmare fuel.
Yeah.
We still left him dead.
It's not that okay, it's only that bad if you didn't pay attention. Otherwise, you'd be lost.
Okay. Alrighty.
that complicated.
That's a good question. Was Crow... Oh, wait, right. Crow's probably still at work, isn't he?
Probably either that or sleeping.
Or Crow saw that we were doing this and he flew away.
Yeah.
If he came
All
here,
right.
Smart birds.
He is not a smart bird. He will fly here eventually. Such is the way of Crow.
Such is the way it is. Ugh.
And yes, I put on this picture and I immediately adopted an arrogant, I am better than you in every single way attitude.
You merely adopted the arrogance. I was born in it. We do not want to talk about this.
We're ready your... Hang on a second. What?
Ready your anuses.
Ready your Muslim slayers.
Alrighty. Let's see. Where... Okay, so... Okay. Let's see. Let's see, where did we leave off? I think we left off at, like, this section. Not surprisingly, this period, i.e. the 1950s, also saw the rise or hardening of anti-Arab stereotypes throughout American society. If during the 1950s Arabs had lurked as strange, vaguely hostile figures in the margins of American consciousness, during the late 1960s and 1970s, the market was saturated with high-profile images, casting them as public enemy number one. At the most restrained, Arabs were chided for pursuing policies of oil warfare, their strategy of squeeze, indicative of the rise of Arab power. Far less charitably, letter to the editor cursed Arabs as the rulers of the world who threatened to turn the nation into an Arab lackey, licking the oil off their feet, and whose actions led one writer to long for the good old days of Western domination. I understand more clearly the rationale of imperialism.
Imperialism.
Oh, gosh.
Oh, yeah.
Is imperialism good or is imperialism bad? Because I think he was actually ranting on that before. So it's basically whatever lets him rant about how much he hates Whitey.
Imperialism.
I think it's like, basically, he's saying that, like, this person is bad because he said that imperialism is good.
Oh, for Christ's sake.
Imperialism is a policy or ideology of extending the rule of authority of the country. Never mind. You know this rule definition anyways.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want to refer to the dictionary because that is or maybe I do because then that likes the same amount of time unless we would be spent reading this book.
No, keep your dictionary handy though.
Yeah, because he uses a lot of flowery words, and for the
honestly, I just want
introduction, it seemed like every other word we were going, what the hell does that word mean?
Honestly, I want to take my fangs and I want to take my claws and rip his neck open.
Let's keep going.
Oh dear, you'd probably get indigestion from how foul his blood is.
I did say I would bite him. I said I would claw his throat out.
Let's keep going, shall we?
If I did, though, be there at my side while I die, Neph.
Let's keep going. In pseudo-scholarly discourse, meanwhile, throwbacks to the 18th century Orientalism proliferated. Caste is a human type which readily and frequently throws off the restraints of discipline and is likely to go on a rampage. Arabs were constructed as the West's absolute antithesis. The Westerners stupefied by Arab violence. After a Palestinian terrorist attack, you would say, but it's all so senseless. This is to expect as something logical from the fundamentally irrational. When projected outwards, Arab violence is non-selective. The identity of victims immaterial. For the Arab, violence in itself is consolatory.
Here's all I heard. Arab violence. That was it. I was lost.
Basically, he's complaining that after the terrorist attack committed by Palestinians, people think Palestinians are terrorists.
I wonder why.
We're judging them by their actions.
It's like, if we're going to perceive a group of people a certain way, your actions do not help to reflect our opinion.
Never mind that he's judging people for their actions too. He's judging people for disliking Muslims. So how much better is Dylan?
You look like a complete fucking idiot.
Yes, that's exactly us in the car right now saying that to this guy.
Mm-hmm.
The ability to speak does not make you intelligent.
Yes.
Yes, excellent. It's
Nor does
perfect.
it make you tolerant.
Yeah. Such convictions were echoed throughout the canons of visual culture, pictured as vulturous turban sheiks in political cartoons, reduced to rifle-toting Kafitia suave
What?
terrorists.
Okay, turbans, that's Sikh.
Hold on, what was that word before? Because I don't...
Kafitia.
Can
Kafitia.
you type it out for me?
Kaffifieyeh.
Hang on, spell that again?
Iyeh?
Oh, I see it. Hang on. Keffiyeh. Keffiyeh. A Bedouin or Arab's kerchief worn as a headdress. Essentially,
But he used the word turban. Kafiks and turbans are not the same thing.
No, they're okay.
Turban sheiks. So I think
hang on,
so. What he said? Let me.
You're done. You said Kaffieyeh, right?
That's correct.
Okay,
that's
so
what the Bedouins would wear.
it says an Arab headdress for men made from a diagonally folded square of cloth held in place by a gal wound around the head. That's not a turban.
Well, it says so. Basically, what he's saying is so. Arabs are pictured as vulturous turbaned sheiks in political cartoons, reduced to rifle-toting Kafit Icho-swayed terrorists on evening news clips. Arabs became synonymous with mad acts of murder and mayhem.
You want to talk about the Sikhs? Would you like to? The Sikhs have been under siege from Islamic violence for millennia.
I don't think it is.
As long as there have been Muslims out that far east, they have been fighting the Sikh people. The Sikhs have been holding them back.
Let's keep going.
We also talk about the fact that the Islams are still to this day hating each other.
Okay. We have 20 more pages.
Oh, God.
Crap.
25. We have 25 more pages.
I should eat bacon in honor of Islamophobia.
Neph, I want you to know. If this kills me, I want you to know. I love you, Neph.
Thank you.
Following the trend, feature films such as the Network 1976, portraying an Arab takeover of network news, Prisoner of the Middle, 1974, depicting Palestinian terrorists, and Black Sunday, 1977, still more Palestinian terrorists, this time at the Super Bowl, reinforced the predominant image of Arabs as monstrous threats to the nation's values and safety, indeed to its very life.
Okay, how long apart were those movies?
76. So 74 to 76. 74 to 77.
Wait, Black Sunday? What?
Yeah. There's a movie in 1977 called Black Sunday where Palestinian terrorists take over the Super Bowl.
That's not really depicting them as like the greatest threat to the West. That's more of a rip from the headline sort of gimmick. Where you take something that actually happened and then extrapolate it into a different location so that people understand it better, at least in theory.
I will forever be confused by every word that you are reading is collectively making me question the actual intelligence of the person who wrote this book.
What? You mean you weren't questioning it already?
No, I mean I was. I was questioning how utterly low it was.
This is the worst writer in America.
I was trying to...
It's not low intelligence, it's low moral character. It's like you're saying that your culture, your stupid whitey cracker culture, called all these people bad. That makes all you whiteys bad. Does he not fathom where this is going? He's just pointing out new targets of hate, and that his hate is good, but everybody else's hate is bad.
Okay, maybe it's a combination of both, but low intelligence that is continuously making me wonder how deep it goes, and a low moral standing. In other words, this man is not human.
Yeah, clearly.
Clearly.
Yeah. If, however, the immediate issue of early 1970s events was a torrent of anger and recrimination against Arab peoples, this period would also produce two more sanguine results: a less lopsided assessment of Arab claims, and along with it, a deepening sense of urgency to resolve the region's conflicts. The history of these developments is multifaceted, one factor being the changing events of the region itself. When PLO chairman Yasser Arafat movingly addressed the United Nations General Assembly in 1974, or when Israeli military units strafed Palestinian refugee camps the same year in retaliation against alleged terrorist attacks.
What year?
1974.
Yeah, that was after the 69 war. Basically, this is going on and on and on and on forever.
That's not that far away from the Yom Kippur War.
Yeah, the 69, I believe it was 69 or 67.
I think you mean the 6-Day War.
Mm-hmm.
The one that basically redrew the borders in Israel's favor because the Muslims were idiots and tried to actually take more of Israeli territory and shove them into the sea like they wanted, like they claimed they wanted. They fucked it up, and then Israel got a bunch of land that they basically conquered.
I think it was 1967.
Yeah, 67. Thank you. It was one of them. Name a year, and there's an Israeli-Palestinian conflict in it.
Alrighty.
It's still going on. It's just not an official one.
Let's keep going. It became increasingly difficult because of these acts for some Americans to determine who is friend and who is foe. Such qualms might not have arisen, however, if not for concurrent seismic shifts in the nation's political landscape, with the civil rights and anti-Vietnam War movements having sensitized the nation to the fate of oppressed peoples at home and abroad. Many Americans were prepared to view the plight of Palestinians, the grievances of their Arab supporters, in terms other than the absolute framework of U.S. or Israeli moral rectitude. Perhaps more decisive in deepening America's resolve to mediate the Middle East conflict, however, is the palpable evidence that caused turmoil in the region would mean continued danger, discomfort, and unrest in the United States. No longer a faraway prospect that the nation could safely put off, peace within the Arab world had come to seem intimately and imminently intertwined with America's very survival. American diplomatic success during this.
By the way, guys,
yeah.
Guess who just flew into the chat?
I noticed.
Was he dumb enough to join us?
I guess he is.
I guess so. Hello, Crow.
Oh, if you didn't appear, I would have thought you to be a very smart bird.
But you're apparently not, because you're watching us.
Yeah, let's keep going. Perhaps more decisive in deepening America's resolve to mediate the Middle East conflict, however, was the palpable evidence that continued turmoil in the region would mean continued danger, discomfort, and unrest in the United States. No longer a faraway prospect the nation could safely put off, peace within the Arab world had come to seem intimately and imminently intertwined with America's very survival. America's diplomatic success during this period were limited, though they were crowned by the Camp David Peace Accord, a failure to procure a lasting Pax Arabia need hardly be belabored. My point, however, is not to second guess from a present day vantage. Yes, it is. You are lying.
Just get the news ready already.
Yeah, let's just
I'll get the horses. I'll get the rest. I'll get everything we need for this witch hunt.
Yeah, rather is to argue that the later years of the 1970s saw a change in American relations toward the Middle East, perhaps as profound as that which transpired toward the close of the 1950s, marked by aggressive marked by aggressive, anxious diplomacy and cautious, if again anxious optimism. This period saw the effort to forge a cohesive, balanced statement of the nation's conflicts than hitherto had been attempted. To simplify considerably, one may trace three overlapping but identifiable stages of American involvement in the Middle East during 3 decades following World War II. Limited engagement, wholesale commitment, and hopeful mediation. At the same time, the changing fortunes of the United States in relation to the Middle East correspond with 3 dominant images of the Arab world as an unfathomable vortex into which the nation is reluctantly and ineluctably drawn, as an inherently evil personalized menace, and as a more ambiguous, ambivalent power, yet still treacherous, yet potentially treatable. It is my contention that the 3 Sinbad films in sequence parallel these 3 geopolitical stages, and as such that their dominant tenor accords with each stage's representations of the Arab world. Such parallels may be difficult to extract from these films, overlain as they are with the more obvious Orientalist master narrative.
Orientalist.
What the F? That was like 12. That was like 3 different terms all in one word. Like,
what anxious optimism?
Quit calling Middle Easterners Oriental.
What is master? I'm sorry, master.
Not
Wait, was he talking about the master race right there?
Master narrative.
What the fuck is a master narrative?
I wish I knew.
I think
master.
What I'm assuming before you say it is basically the narrative that seems to supersede all other narratives due to prevalence. Is that correct?
A master narrative is therefore a particular type of narrative which is defined as a coherent system of interrelated and sequentially organized stories that share a common rhetorical desire to resolve a conflict by establishing an audience expectations according to the known trajectories of its literary rhetorical icon.
Long story short, it's a mainstream media.
Yep.
So I was correct.
Oh, yes, he means meta narrative. Yes, Space Junk. He means meta narrative, not master narrative.
Same.
Meta narrative is more literary.
Yeah.
I just
why?
Because this man is an idiot, trying to justify his own existence, because otherwise he's utterly useless to society.
You know, he is, though.
He's also a liar. Do you know what happened in, 1979? What was really, really, really important in geopolitics in that era? The whole Iran took U.S. hostages. That was a thing.
Yeah. Let's keep going. At the same time, I would not wish to contend that the differences among these films are clear-cut or absolute. To confine each film to a single ideological niche, especially when 2 of the 3 appeared within 3 years of each other, would drastically schematize the nature of historical cultural productions. I do wish to argue, however, that close examination of each film will reveal significant differences among their narrative and representational stages. If, in their broad outline, the Sinbad films suggest an Orientalist freedom from history, in their particular features, they prove considerably more subtle, and as such more potent, if problematic, vehicles of social alienation than the simplistic fantasies they are routinely understood to be.
I'm just sitting here with my mouth open in absolute horror at what this man is saying.
Okay, what is he saying to you, basically?
I can't even put it to words because it all sounds like drivel.
It sounds like drivel to you. Sounds like racism to me.
Yes, it sounds like the worst kind of drivel ever, and it pisses me off. Well, this is why
got published. This guy got published.
That's it. I suggest we take away his ability to read.
Yeah.
Let's take away his right.
Bad.
No, even better. Let's take away his right to life.
Yeah. You are fired from breathing, essentially.
Yeah.
Every time he breathes, I feel a brain cell scream in agony.
Yeah. Imagine if it was him reading this out.
I can't believe it's just how could you I do realize that you're supposed to be a literature professor.
I highly doubt it. This seems like a lie.
Yeah, you are supposed to teach people to be concise and brief, and yet you write sentence upon sentence that means the same thing, which means you might as well not have written it.
Yeah, we need to write a parody of a term paper.
There's also the fact that it's like he's writing a freaking history book. And he's like giving us lectures on history rather than geopolitics. It sounds like he's giving us a lecture on geopolitics instead of, the actual subject of the chapter.
He's giving a lecture on, okay, I'm going to ignore all these points in history and judge all of your actions and biases, which I made up, by the way, on these points in history. And just completely ignore those points, or the fact that there might not be biases at all.
That says a whole lot more about you, Bellin, than it says about anyone else.
I am extremely offended.
Yeah, so am I.
We want this over School of Movies. Remember that? No regrets.
Let's keep going. Yeah. So in my readings of the Sinbad films, I'm guided by two beliefs. First, that because of the Orientalist meta-narrative, that because of the Orientalist meta-narrative is so pervasive throughout American culture, including film culture, it may actually be, however paradoxically, more responsive to current events than the norm. And second, that this narrative is so resistant to scrutiny, it may, again, paradoxically provide a more peculiarly congenial environment for clandestine, by which I do not imply intentional commentary on the real.
Huh?
So they were accidentally racist.
Don, please play the Billy Madison clip.
Which one?
Yes.
Let's see.
Just yes.
Well, first this.
At no point in your rambling, incoherent response were you even close to anything that could be considered a rational thought.
Yes. It feels so nice.
Yeah. The Sinbad films then enable one not only to observe the complex ways in which cultural productions participate in the histories that produce them, but more specifically the ways in which, as McAllister writes, representations of the Middle East help to make the area and its people meaningful within the cultural and political context of the United States. Before elaborating on this thesis, however, two further caveats are in order.
Oh my god! It's a thesis! Oh god!
First, though I will insist on locating the Sinbad films within the history of the United States-Arab relations, at the same time, I will resist reading films as forthright political allegories.
Everything is political.
Oh my god!
Well, he said he's going to resist reading them as political.
Oh,
he's going to fail, but he says he's going to try, and I think he's lying.
I think it's finally getting to me.
Yeah. So basically, and he's going to name off the characters. I've never watched these movies. I'm just reading this book because I know that it's just going to be bad.
It's bad take after bad take.
It's wearing me down. Why?
Political allegories with Sinbad as the United States, the kingdom he protects as Israel, Socorro as Nassar, Kura as OPC, Zenobia as PLO, and so on.
You realize that this comes from Scheherazad's 1001 Arabian Nights, right?
Yeah, we know that.
It was the fifth voyage.
We do.
These are ancient stories. None of them actually are based on anything like this.
And may God have mercy on your soul. Yeah, because we're gonna mock you forever for this.
Somebody told me.
Yeah. Alrighty, let's keep going. An exaggerated reaction against the tendency to divorce these films from history, such clever matching of the text and context actually leeches the films of their polymorphous power.
No.
Their polymorphous power of what? Their polymorphous power to what?
That's the end of the sentence.
I don't think they understand what polymorphous power
That's the end of the sentence that feels... I know that it feels like it's a run-on sentence, but at the same time, it feels like it's an incomplete thought.
Done. Can you please show us this sentence, please?
Okay. What?
It's like it's not even. He's not even using the word polymorphous correctly.
No, he's not. He's really, really not.
I am utterly lost.
Basically, he's saying that when you put them in history, put them in the context of the history they were created, time period they're created, and they lose their ability to be watched and brainlessly throughout at any point in time.
What? So how is that in any way describable as polymorphous? Multiple form. Break the word down.
I got an announcement to make, everyone.
What?
We finally found the dumbest man on Earth.
Finally, how long have we been at this?
I think Patrick is kind of dumber than this.
Who is that dork that reviewed No Country for Old Men?
Oh, Confused Matthew.
Yeah, I gotta give him the gold star of all the people we've reviewed so far. No, Maggie Mae Fish deserves honorable mention for making up her own movies in her own head.
Oh my god, yeah, totally.
I want to give Joshua David Bowen the worst human being on the planet award.
No. He's not the worst human being on the planet. There are worse people.
I know.
He is the worst college professor on the face of the earth. Let's go with that.
You are unworthy of your station.
I don't think you've met many college professors recently, then. They're pretty much all like this, and some are even worse.
Yeah, they are, but we have definitive proof that this guy is... Oh my god.
Professor and intellect and been protected.
How about the professor that chased James Fields into his charger with a rifle? That was a professor.
Oh, that is true. Yeah.
Well, Movie Bob is more like
pretty bad.
Dangerously intelligent, but intelligent nonetheless, and very, very hostile.
You know, I think I touched Crow too soon. It doesn't look like he's here anymore. Bless you, Crow.
That just means he hasn't commented in a while.
Let's keep going.
Commented.
For similar reasons, I must abjure any notion that the Sinbad films, by virtue of the fact that they are set in the Middle East, are either more representative of Middle Eastern conflicts than other current films, or solely representative of such conflicts. That sentence meant nothing. It might be possible to demonstrate that the films seemingly remote from the Middle East are implicated in pervasive cultural desires and anxieties concerning the region. Conversely, it would be impossible to read the Sinbad films in terms wholly distant from the arena of international power relations, or in terms of other such relations, most obvious being the nation's disastrous military legacies in Korea and Vietnam. What?
Wait, what nation's disasters? What?
Korea and Vietnam.
Disastrous.
No. What nation's disastrous intervention or whatever?
Yes.
Is he talking about
I think
America?
he's referring to America. Yes.
America did not lose in Korea. The existence of South Korea proves that America didn't lose.
The existence, or the reason why we lost at Vietnam was not because, well, we lost. We lost on the home front, and people just didn't want. It was the most.
Yeah, Walter Cronkite killed us in Vietnam. The Tet Offensive was a horribly devastating maneuver that Ho Chi Minh had no way around. There was no way out of it except propaganda. And that's how they survived. And then when we left, the South Vietnamese were kind of butchered.
Yeah. Oh my God, that's not all.
Let's keep going.
Vietnam War is one of the most pointless. Was one that had the most unnecessary bloodsheds.
My point then is not to enshrine or confine the Sinbad films within any static cultural niche. My point, rather, is to illustrate the countless productions in which the U.S. concerns about the Arab world came to be focused. The Sinbad trilogy is one such site, an intriguing and fertile one, but neither a definitive nor conclusive one. Reading this site opens up the possibility not only of examining how diverse and far-flung are the manifestations of history within popular culture, but more specifically of affirming even the most fantastic of film's affinities with particular histories of social alienation.
I'm not saying you're racist, but you're racist.
Alrighty. Mystery Menace Mediation, Sinbad in the Middle East.
Oh, God.
Here we go. Clinch.
Oh, God, and all your holy grace, please grant me the strength to not blow my brains out.
We have 21 more pages.
Oh my God!
I thought you said we had 20 pages earlier. How did we have?
Okay.
You lied and said we had 25.
Okay, so we're at we're at 83 and we have till 105. I miscounted. Sorry.
Jesus Christ! I have a feeling that the series of streams is Kiri Kotomini's favorites.
I'll just kind of read and try and like at least he's getting into the movie now.
Oh wait, what? Finally, after
we're finally getting into the movie.
I guess so.
I'm afraid.
I never thought we'd get there.
Toward the close of the extended introduction that sets up the main adventure in the seventh voyage of Sinbad, the Princess Parisia, betrothed to the film's hero, utters the following line: "The world has grown very large overnight." It is a suggestive snatch of dialogue in the context of the American 1950s, a comment that bespeaks of the United States awakening to its role, risks, and responsibilities in a global order. In a new global order. In the narrower U.S.-Middle East nexus, it is the line that underscores national anxieties over the meaning and significance of the Arab world, a world that has haltingly become integrated into America's mental map, and that was, according to the producers of the film, unfit for location shooting. They chose Spain instead due to its unsettled conditions. Obviously, they're in a state of perpetual war, and it's been that way for decades.
It is.
Also, Spain is heavily Muslim.
Yeah,
it is the Middle East. If you look over the I have the concise history of the Middle East. It is a very weird region, but for a long time now, it has been nothing but fighting each other. There was a time when they had empires rise and fall, all conquering their lands and then getting conquered by other empires. There's as long lasting as the Mesopotamians were, they too returned to dust. As long as the Persian Empire may have reigned, it wasn't long till Alexander came.
Basically, it is a land of war and terrorism.
Ironically, this place is the cradle of civilization.
Ironic.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Very ironic.
Yeah. Were Parisia's lines spoken in a virtually any other 1950s era film, its historical resonances would be unmistakable. I don't care. Spoken as it is in Ray Harryhausen's Sinbad film, however, the political implications of Parisia's line have passed unnoticed and unremarked. That this is so may be attributable to the cinematic packaging with which the line is surrounded or swamped. For one thing, the line in its immediate context is meant as a whimsical, if painful, joke. It is not, in fact,
like this
that the world that has gotten larger, but Parisia, who has grown smaller, reduced to doll-sized by the malevolent magician Sakura. Okay, I guess. For another, a special effects shot, the matting of the miniature princess into the life-size setting occupied by Sinbad fills the screen while her line is spoken. Intent on the magic of this image, viewers are presumably paying little attention to the lovers' banter. The result of these devices is that Parisia's tantalizing words are obscured within the heavy veil of Orientalist distancing, not to say trivializing effects.
Okay, I have to highlight what Space Junkier said. Rivers has this amazing power of spawning empires.
Yeah.
It is the truth. The Roman Empire. Rome was freaking built on the Tiber River.
It's almost like rivers are built around empires.
So he's discussing the Sinbad trilogy from the 1970s.
It's a river.
And back in the 1970s is when movies were for entertainment, not for political propaganda, mostly.
Actually, yes, they were.
Well,
just not the propaganda you're thinking.
Yeah, it's
like there were the obvious ones that were made specifically for propaganda.
Yeah, but Sinbad is not one of them.
Let's keep going. It is rather to say that during the era in which this film was made, few Americans, including the filmmakers, were prepared to recognize their historically situated anxieties within the film's presumably pure, innocent Orientalist trappings. Okay, so basically they can't understand their own racism, and they just put it into the film. Great. I don't care.
This man
it says more about you than it does anyone else, Bellin.
This man, he can't comprehend his own racism.
Yeah,
he
that's why I say
understand it at all.
Yeah, he is essentially this man is a racist. He's like Movie Bob. Because Movie Bob's a Nazi, a secret Nazi. You can't convince me and otherwise.
He's a Nazi trying to convince himself he's not a Nazi.
Yeah.
Like every time he looks in the mirror, all he sees is a fat blob wearing some of the snazziest uniforms ever.
Yeah, and a swastika tattooed on his forehead.
Yep. So he has to spend every day trashing others so as to make himself not look like one.
Yeah. Indeed, as I have said, the Sinbad film's deployment of the conventional tricks of the Orientalist cinema's trade continued to deflect attention from their historically concrete discourse regarding the United States and Arab world. What? Okay, let me pick my brain out of my head.
Perhaps you should read that again.
Okay, let me see if I can dissect this. Basically, it uses the conventionalist tricks of the Orientalist cinema trade to move attention away from their clear historical discourse about the U.S. and the Arab world. That's what I said. That's what he said. You could have said that simply.
America wasn't even a glint in Great Britain's eye when this story was first penned.
Yeah.
Great Britain was basically living in mud huts and killing each other with bits of metal.
Pagans. They were pagans, and then they became Christians fighting other pagans.
Mm. And it was cool that you got to finish. and it's cool that you got to finish Last Kingdom. We'll have to do it season 2, Wolf. We'll have to chat about that sometime.
Boy, ever since, even to this day, the English Welsh, Scots, and Irish never liked each other.
Nope.
No.
Yeah.
Even back when there were Saxons, Britons, Scots, and Gaelish.
Let's keep going. Since in this generic respects, the three Sinbad films are roughly similar, I will limit myself to touching on the Orientalist master narrative at this point.
Okay.
Its appearance.
I understand that you can touch yourself, but don't say that out loud in front of other people.
You mean talk Last Kingdom or screw Last Kingdom? I don't know. We'll do it later. We'll do that later. We'll do that later.
Okay. Now, did you watch the second season yet?
I have not watched the second season yet. I've been busy.
Oh, it's fine. Oh, Jurassic Park's coming up next.
Ooh, I can't wait for that.
Yeah, it's gonna be bad. So, what do you think we should watch? The chapter or the video?
Of what?
That contains the highlights of this.
Oh my god, it's so hard since both are going to be awful.
I want to do the chapter because that way we can get all the stupid.
Yeah.
Then the video, and then we can cleanse our palate by watching the actual movie.
Or we can cleanse our palate by watching Coronel's reaction.
I cannot, for the life of me, understand this person.
I can't either. Don't feel too bad about that.
Please take Joshua David Mullen to jail and send us into the electric chair. I don't care.
It's okay, Johan. It's okay, Johan. It's fine. Okay, suggesting that its appearance in the seventh voyage before moving on to explore the insufficiency of this narrative alone in accounting for each film's cultural work. The opening credits of Seventh Voyage key the Orientalist master narrative, playing over images somewhat in the manner of an illuminated map of monstrous creatures on rocky islands, alternating with the most readily identifiable of markers, Bedouin tents and camels, walled cities with spires and minarets. The credits begin the work of.
What do you want to see? Like super cities?
What does the structure? What does the constructing the architecture of the city have to do with Sinbad again?
I wish I knew.
It's not entitled Wakanda.
Yeah.
That's certainly what
the
it
credits
feels like.
begin. The credits begin the work of distancing this world from the viewer's own and descendants.
Jesus
Christ.
Christ.
The continuation of the. So this is one solid sentence with a few semicolons, with one colon and with one colon. The opening credits of Seventh Voyage key the Orientalist master narrative, play over images somewhat in the manner of an illuminated map of monstrous creatures on rocky isles, alternate with the most readily identifiable of markers. Bedouin tents and camels, walled cities with spires and minarets. The credits begin the work of distancing this world from the viewer's own. End of sentence.
I'm reminded of the EFAP where they were talking about Black Panther, and it's like they were jokingly referring to what must have been going through the filmmakers' minds, and it's like I think this was Wolf, because of course it was, and he was saying it's like, gee, how do we make this look like Africa? I know, poverty.
Yeah.
Yes.
It's very weird because the Wakanda in the MCU just looks like they were trying to do, this is future high-tech city, but we still want to make it look, but they still dress like they're Africans, because
Yeah,
it's not
because
like-
Africans have a certain way they dress. It's not poverty, though there is poverty there. It's the style of clothing.
Yeah.
Let's keep going. Bernard Herrmann's sprightly Middle Eastern flavored music completes this initial encounter with the foreign, guided by the score's driving rhythms and by the roaming camera, which dissolves from one corner of the visible area to another. The viewer realizes the parallel fantasies of complete physical separation from and complete visual authority over this outlandish land. What?
What's outlandish?
Oh my god!
Oh, people get that this isn't the real world because of weird camera tricks, not the fact that it's literally called Sinbad.
Man, the fact that Bad still breeds is the proof that the Hitman I hired sucked.
Yeah, basically.
Yeah. Within film world, the mise en scène operates to confirm the fairy tale nature of the proceedings. The standard turbans, scimitars, gongs, dancing girls, sedan chairs, and other icons of Hollywood's Middle East reinforce the impression of the film existing within the eternal fantasy of Orientalist film alone. End of sentence. As one minor indication of this persistent, even audacious, otherly worldliness, when Parisia first appears, she is carting a brightly colored parrot, an inexplicable companion, but for its hopeful attempt to ensure that the unmistakable Anglo actor who plays the princess will not be taken as such. A more prevalent, and it's basically he's complaining of whitewashing.
But that's not. Oh god.
Point to me which Muslim woman lost her job because of this quote-unquote Anglo woman.
Yeah. Point that out to me.
Name
please.
her.
This is the 1960s.
Of course they're going to use.
Mr. Ballin, I have one thing to say.
I don't care.
I just want to take my sword and run it through this man's heart.
This is not the worst bit. The worst is yet to come.
Wolf, you aren't paying your assassins enough.
Of course
No, it
I'm
just
not.
means they suck.
I'm trying to do this.
Maybe they just suck. They just suck. Yeah.
Okay, who here is a better hitman than Larry G. Janitor?
I don't know. Let's just find the John Wick of this world.
Yeah.
There has to be one.
A more prevalent and considerably less playful illustration of the film's investment in the Orientalist narrative of absolute difference involves this depiction of the crew of convict Sinbad raises for the return voyage to the island of Colossa. Not only are these men the most physically stereotyped members of the crew with dark skin, black pointed beards, golden earrings, thick accents, but their behavior typifies the cowardice, mendancy. Okay,
What?
that's interesting.
Mendes? Oh, how you spell that?
Men, MENDAC.
Okay, got it. Menacing. Okay, menacing. Untruthfulness.
Okay. Use that. Gluttony, inconstancy, and depravity for which the screen Arab was renowned. Criminals to begin with, they attempt to steal Sinbad's ship, only to plead for his help when they hit rough waters, guzzle wine from the island's enchanted stream, and slay the baby rock to glut their bellies, and foolishly linger amidst the Cyclops' treasure hoard, aping themselves in jewels and provoking another armed conflict with their abstemious captain when he tries to reason with them. Isn't Sinbad supposed to be the Arab in this?
Yes. Yes, he's supposed to be. Supposedly.
Yeah, pretty much every story from 1001 Arabian Nights is about Arab virtue. And of course, Sinbad actually represents this.
The conflict crew, moreover, provides a pretext for the film's most objectionable moment. When one careless soldier falls to his death, the pious captain intones, Allah knows many ways of dealing with hungry men. Okay. Most objectionable moment. How is that objectionable? I don't understand. It's basically the same thing as me saying natural selection is a reason why God is intelligent. It's no different. Is that objectionable?
Clearly, this man should have been killed by natural selection.
I guess he just is somewhat smart enough to keep himself out of dangerous situations, though I imagine that multiple people would probably burn shit. What? This book's so obscure that nobody's burning this man at the stake, either metaphorically or literally, which is surprising.
Can we do the crucifixion on this man?
No. Now, once we get him canceled, that'll be a crucifixion.
Yeah.
Yeah, let's just cancel this man. Let's absorb. Let's kind of appropriate cancel culture, so that let's do cultural appropriation on cancel culture, and then just have everybody who is sane say cancel David Bellin. He sucks.
Yeah.
He's erased.
Then again, because of his obscurity, he probably basically is canceled.
Probably. Well, he's still publishing books.
How?
I don't know. Maybe he does good. Maybe he blows flutes very well.
That would not surprise me.
Yeah.
Okay. Hashtag cancel Bellin. Proof. Framing Monsters is one of those ironic racist books I've ever read.
Yes. The films only reference the divine beyond a few perfunctory prayers. This pearl is presented as if it were a proverb, characteristic of the low value the Muslim world places on human life.
This book is a crime against humanity.
It's like, I look at that, and my dad served in Desert Storm and Desert Shield, and I'm going, you're not wrong.
Well, I guess Johan's though, how he's still publishing, how is he publishing books is he must really love eating some salad.
Either that or boxes.
I'm gonna take a guess and say it's salad.
And he also looks unironically like a skinhead.
I'm not surprised.
If it comes out and says, I think that if it comes out and says,
it just sounds like we got better.
Okay, apparently he's been writing books since he was 8. Apparently they were short. Okay.
Since he was
he just barely put he put out a book this year.
What?
He's been writing since he was 8?
Big deal. I've been writing since I was 4. Check out the size of my writer penis.
He put 2 books out this year.
Words have lost. I can't describe my rage. It is indescribable. It is insurmountable. It is.
Okay. So he's been consistently. He put out 3 books in 2020.
What?
Just read their titles if you have them,
please.
Okay, so Survival Colony in 2014, Scavenger of Souls 2016, The Devouring Land 2018, Freefall 2017, Daughter of Dust 2020, House of Earth, House of Stone 2019, The Last Censor 2020, Ecosystem 2018. 2001 was Demon of the Continent. Tales of Terror and Terra. 2018. A very small child called.
Oh no, we learned
Called
about a very
Eugene.
small child. Oh god, oh god.
Oh my goodness.
Called Eugene.
God, please
Medicine-
just end this already. Send a meteor and wipe us out.
The Medicine Bundle 2008, Dark's Dominion 2020, The Great Forest 2021, and Scarred City 2021.
2021? So those are just planned?
Holy Ninja, I would like to. Normally I would, but we kind of have a tight schedule, so I wish I could bring you on, but I cannot, unfortunately.
I hope, Crow. I hope you flew away from here, far, far away.
Okay. Moreover, the film's special effects are quite in keeping with, indeed indispensable to, its Orientalism. So basically, the special effects are racist.
Orientalism is Asian. We're not talking about Asians. We're talking about.
Well, you're talking about. Well, Orientalism is basically anything that's beyond Europe.
So Africa as well.
Well, America.
Yeah. Yeah. Let me define. Well, Orientalism is something that Game of Thrones was accused of. But basically,
what?
So basically, it's styles, artifacts, or traits considered characteristic of Asia. The representation of Asia, especially the Middle East, in a stereotyped way that is regarded as embodying a colonialist attitude because of how it depicted people of color. Russia is not included because it is technically part of, like, somewhat
Asia.
Europe. It's somewhat part of Europe.
It's like up to I would say like Moscow. It's probably as far as you get. That's how in Europe it is. Otherwise, the rest of that that's Asia.
Mm-hmm. To begin
and
with,
Moscow's really close to, and
mm-hmm.
then it's the fact that I'm trying to look for words right now that I can't even think of other than why are we here?
I know.
Just to suffer?
Pretty much, yeah. Pretty much, yeah. Yeah, it's very much.
Why did we do that?
Why did we do that?
Still here?
And somehow I still have all my brain cells.
Yeah, because you're having to piece through this man's craziness because he's really obscure.
I don't think I lost any brain cells, but I'm definitely losing my sanity.
Alrighty. To begin with, in the principal side of spectacle, the effects provide an impression of mastery over the Orient skin akin to Harryhausen's mastery over his articulated puppets. Most stunningly realized in the sequence in which the blinded Cyclops gropes after the hero, the film offers its audience a unilateral, unencumbered vision and control over the Orient.
Isn't the idea they're bringing a bunch of Oriental, quote-unquote, monsters, the fact that there isn't control over the Orient?
I don't know. At the same time, the monsters exemplify the discourse of absolute difference. Their utterly fantastic nature, removing them from the context of the viewer's reality. Indeed, in the case of the Cyclops, the film takes a further step toward ensuring difference by depriving the articulated creature of articulation. The Cyclops have no speech, Sakura assures Sinbad, and thus the magic lamp is useless to them. That is, of course, unlikely. The horned giants who craft cages, clubs, and stools, who make fire, who cook their meat, would almost certainly possess some form of spoken language.
Not necessarily.
You don't need to speak in order to be intelligent. After all, animals are intelligent, but they don't speak our language.
Dolphins.
Yeah, and dolphins are apparently horny AF.
Violent AF.
For those at home, for those at home, apparently somebody tried to have sex with a dolphin, and he ended up in a hospital.
Ah!
And that's why I'm not allowed at SeaWorld anymore.
Okay, I had to ask a question. Was he trying to do the effing, or was it the other way around?
Oh, he was trying to screw the dolphin.
I'm not even going to question how that was going to go for him.
Yeah.
Where's Black Slayer when we need him?
Yeah. But beyond the extreme difficulty of convincing the illusion of language with latex motion puppets, the problem Harryhausen circumvented in Clash of the Titans was by employing a live actor for the speaking parts of the animated character Calibos, depriving the denizens of the non-Western world of their voice is a hallmark of the Orientalist project. As David Spur writes, there is a long-standing, quote, rhetorical tradition in which the non-Western peoples are essentially denied the power of language and are represented as mute or incoherent.
I want to like this person the power of language.
Mm-hmm. And are represented. They are denied a voice in the ordinary idiomatic sense, not permitted to speak, or in a more radical sense, not recognized as capable of speech. The incoherence of the Orient, in this view, is related to an incapacity to enter into the basic systems of thought that make civilized life possible. Okay, taken as a whole, then, the Seventh Voyage strives to reduce a Middle Eastern fantasy world as far from the realities of civilized Western life as possible. So basically, this man is equating Arabs with the Cyclops.
Okay.
Good job, Bellum.
Okay, why is he equating Arabs with the cannibal?
I don't know.
Okay.
I have no idea.
Okay,
it's like that means that Greeks are basically the Leviathan. That Greeks are basically the Kraken. Greeks are basically the Minotaur.
Kraken's Nordic.
Yeah, the Norse.
Wasn't there a Greek? Wasn't there a Greek Kraken?
There's a Scylla.
But
you're thinking of the Scylla.
There's also Charybdis and Charybdis is a mutant whirlpool.
It's a giant whirlpool that lives.
Yeah.
Because the film is set in the fantasy Middle East. Well, someone needs to tell Bellin this because his 6-year-old brain can't comprehend this.
Yeah. Are we sure he's even 6 years old mentally?
It's either that or he has a galaxy-sized brain.
Yeah.
Wait, no, galaxy-sized brain is more intelligent.
Yes.
He's a galaxy-sized brain. Therefore, he's more intelligent than anyone in this room, man, plus this entire Earth.
Phenomenal cosmic intelligence. Teeny tiny common sense.
Yeah. Pretty much. However, the Orientalist
power, teeny tiny house.
Yeah.
Kraken is Norse, but it's in the original Clash of the Titans, hence why people think the Kraken is Greek.
True. Alrighty.
That's a very common misconception.
Yeah. However, the Orientalist master narrative proves inadequate to achieving its goal. Orientalism, I have noted, asserts that the West has absolute authority to construct the East, an authority most readily secured if the East can be so fully fantasized as to seem to exist outside history. Yet, as Sharman notes, this retreat from history must itself be placed within history. The making of Orientalist films during a time when the Middle East is so politically volatile suggests an underlying nostalgia for Orientalist narratives which offer heroes and villains rather than the morally ambiguous characters who dominate the world stage.
When has it not been politically
Or when has any place on Earth not been violent? Maybe if people haven't been there.
But listen, it's our way of human nature. You're violent by nature. This is nothing that this is no news. It's like saying people die when they are killed.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It is.
People are racist when they are killed.
Yeah. In this light, for all its proclamations of power over the fantasy land of the Orient, the Seventh Voyage seems to be washing the anxieties over authority that marked American views of the Middle East during the post-war period. From 1950 to 1958, regional instability was fostered by the withdrawal of the European powers, the growth of Arab nationalism, and Western, including U.S. counterinsurgency against Soviet-backed governments, brought down King Abdullah of Jordan, King Farouk of Egypt, Muhammad Mossadegh of Iran, Suri el-Quwatli of Syria, and Fasil II of Iraq. Under these unsettled conditions, American attempts to force partnerships and alliances, or even in the case of Seventh Voyage, to secure location footage, were both erratic and, more often than not, bootless. Within the film world of Seventh Voyage, the chronic instability and insecurity of the time took the form of a profound suspicion concerning the origin, nature, use, and usefulness of power in the Middle East. In this respect, rather than representational power over the Arab world becoming the film's uncontested province, the uncertainty of power within the Arab world becomes a principal subject of the film's representations. This does not mean that Seventh Voyage is not an Orientalist film. It does mean that the film's illusion that its Middle East discourse exists outside history is just that, an illusion, one that strives unsuccessfully to cloak the historical grounds within which it arose.
It's trying to say that it's not racist, but I'm smart enough
to know that it is. No, that says more about you than it does about the people who made these films.
We bang rocks together, therefore be smart.
The ability to speak does not make you intelligent.
Here's the uppity medieval English version of that. Just the ability to allow words to speak from thine mouth does not mean these intelligent.
Thou art intelligent.
Thou, yes, not thee. Thou.
Sorry, thou. Fuck. There was a time when I was saying...
It's easy enough to make that mistake because both thee and thou mean you.
Yeah.
So don't worry about it.
Today.
The only time when a
This has more repeating oneself padding than an EFAP. Yes.
Yeah. Let's keep going.
The only time when the Middle East was somewhat non-violent was when the Ottoman Empire came in.
Yeah,
you could say the same for pretty much. You could say the same for pretty much every other empire. At least there was something resembling peace.
The uncertainty concerning the West's position in the Arab world operate from the film's first sequence and do not relent by its last. The Seventh Voyage opens with a shot of a ship at sail gliding slowly through a nighttime mist as an ominous note plays on the soundtrack. This shot is, of course, a standard Orientalist opening. A daytime version appears, for example, in the key pretext for the Seventh Voyage, Alexander Corda's 1940 film Thief of Baghdad. At the same time, however, this opening shot activates the historically rich image of the nation as vessel, an image reinforced by the following shot of the stalwart and turbanless at point, notably Western captain, sitting at the wheel, staring intently into the dark. When Sinbad calls for a sounding, his crew expresses mistrust. If there was land, it would be such that no man would dare set foot upon. The surprising discovery of land underscores both the captain's prescience and the unpredictable conditions of his world. Likewise, the first mate's prayer that we may find nothing more than food and water on the island of Colossa captures both the irresolute nature of the common Middle Eastern seaman and the inadequacy of such fervent prayers. For, of course, what they find on Colossa dictates the entire course of the adventure to follow. The dialogue that caps this opening scene, in which Paris's lady-in-waiting berates Sinbad for taking Parisia from the comfort and safety of home, and in which the princess defends her lover, claiming that he is not responsible for the mysterious winds that blew us off course, heightens the dominant note of this expository sequence. The unpredictability of events when one departs from home port for lands unknown, sailing in Sinbad's words, uncharted waters, in the company of a doubtful crew, and with an even more doubtful mission or end. Okay, so this guy doesn't understand tension.
No, he doesn't.
Just because
the same way that confused Matthew doesn't.
thy lips may be speaking of words, but thou is certainly not of intelligent life.
No.
Charles Bilbo Baggins.
Yeah. Basically what he's like, this is a whole I'm nothing. Like, it's basically just like, the
Also,
West
like,
is unpredictable. The West is unpredictable. Thank you very much. I saved you like 250 words.
Not to mention an entire chapter.
Yeah.
This book is just trying to fatten you up, and it's not even filling.
Yeah.
No.
This discourse on the perilous nature of foreign entanglements deepens as the film progresses. On Colossus, Sinbad, brave but headstrong, nearly leads his crew into mortal danger, marveling at the stone face carved into the cliff, which he likens to the work of some ancient civilization, and determined to see where the stone mouth leads. He is narrowly saved by, of all persons, the magicians who will turn out to be his foe. The man's emergence from the cave preventing Sinbad from literally walking into the mouth of the beast. That Sinbad applies to the term ancient civilization to the monument connects the Valley of the Cyclopses to the Middle East, the ancient civilization from which the West was born, and to which, as colonizers and self-designated saviors of the region's supposedly half-bestial peoples, the West has regularly returned. Wow, dude.
Oh my god.
Not a single word in that entire sentence was anything resembling an intelligence word.
It's like the more
What you just said is one of the most insanely idiotic things I have ever heard.
Yeah, it's like the farther we get in this book, the less he says, it feels like.
This sentence was from the point on Colossus to Mouth of the Beast, that is one sentence. It's like 2 inches thick.
That's a run-on sentence.
Holy crap, that's a thick one.
Yeah, and it's not even the right kind of thick.
Yeah. And the next sentence is 2 inches thick as well.
Oh, good God.
Okay, that Sinbad has been chastened by his near-fatal encounter with his backward world is evident when he steadfastly refuses to aid Okura in recovering the lamp and its weird power. The Cyclopses will be on guard now, he warns, and in any event, we are on an important mission for the Caliph of Baghdad. Our presence there means the difference between war and peace. I will not risk that by turning back. Unswayed by the magician's offer of a king's ransom and jewels, which he empties over a map so that monetary and territorial interests are visibly linked, Sinbad expresses the nation's hesitancy to become involved in an alluring and alarming land of fabled wealth, sudden violence, unaccountable beings, and power. So basically, he said he would not liken Sinbad to the U.S., but he is clearly likening Sinbad to the U.S. in this. It's just
Can we?
You fracking hypocrite.
The amount of words that were just spoken is astounding, and yet very, very little meant. Hardly any of it meant anything at all.
You open your mouth, but I don't hear anything but blah, 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 blah.
Yeah.
Stop bringing logic into a movie! Random, incoherent, juvenile shit happens, things explode, and people empty their wallets to see it!
Yes! More so in the 70s than now.
Yeah.
I don't think I could. It's like when you watch the older shows that didn't have much when it comes to plot. You can obviously, it's like you somewhat inwardly cringe at it, but it's like there's an enjoyability factor to it, just being so utterly simplistic that it's funny.
Yeah. Simplistic can be very entertaining. It depends on how you do it.
Sometimes people just want to watch a story that doesn't really ask much of them. Sometimes they want to read a book that just is super simple, even if it's just hero does good things because they're good and bad guy does bad things because they're bad. It's like sometimes you just want to read a story that doesn't. Sometimes you want to experience a story that is simple by nature.
Yep.
And sometimes all you want to do is see the good guy give the bad guy a bloody nose.
Let's keep it going. The lull in the action after the escape from Colossus served to establish character relations, to flesh out the backstory and situate the viewer more fully in an Orientalist milieu, and to provide the audience and animator alike a breathing spell, though it does include one of Harryhausen's flashier creations, the Snake Woman. Okay.
And this is important why?
I don't know. At the same time,
about a Medusa figure?
A Gorgon?
I guess so. I guess so. At the same time, however, this period of relative quiet permits the aura of anxiety cultivated in the prologue to mount, not only in regards to the film's manifest conflict, the magician's monomaniacal quest for the lamp, and in respect to the other, less insistent elements of the action. For instance, in the scene of the banquet honoring Parisia's father, the Sultan of Chandra, the film identifies multiple threats to the safety and stability of the land. The Sultan himself, an Orientalist caricature, constantly muttering maledictions beneath his beard, serves as a reminder of the ferocity lurking below the polished, glamorous surface of the Middle Eastern opulence and decadence.
What the fuck am I reading?
What the hell are we listening to?
That is so not the point of the original story. If you actually look into a lot of these Arab folklores, a lot of them actually do not look kindly on having assloads of wealth. In fact, they consider it like a huge vice that should be rejected at all costs.
Or if you do have wealth, be generous with it.
Yeah.
Like Sinbad is an example of somebody who is rich, but he gives a lot of his money to this beggar that just comes off the street.
That was also kind of the point of Aladdin in the original Arabic.
Mm-hmm. Pretty much.
A man who had much but gave a man who had many and gave many.
We are currently in the middle of page 88.
And how much do we have left?
We need to get to 105, I believe.
It'll be... yeah, that is correct.
Okay.
Similarly, Sokra's counterfeited prophecy, according to which mysterious and evil forces are at work to produce great disaster, a regional war instead of a royal wedding, recalls the precarious hair-trigger quality of war and peace in this land. For even if Sakura is bearing false witness to achieve his dastardly ends, his prophecy nearly comes true. Finding the shrunken Parisia the following day, and, like everyone else, improbably never suspecting the magician of the Mastid, the Sultan threatens Baghdad with the very fate that Sokora had, quote-unquote, foreseen. Indeed, pursuing this line of inquiry, it is intriguing to note that Sokora himself pleads when Sinbad floors him for his lie. He was asked to prognosticate. If he prevaricated instead, the Sultan and the Caliph had engineered the conditions for his fib. Given the Sultan's volatile temper, moreover, to foresee the collapse of peace process hardly constitutes a whopper. He's using what? Okay.
What?
I need to show this to you.
A whopper?
Oh god.
Yeah, he literally says a whopper.
What?
Oh, my God.
Oh. False alarm.
For all the SAT vocabulary words he busts out, he uses the word whopper.
Get your whopper here.
The word whopper. Why the hell is he using the word whopper?
Yeah, where?
Yeah, America's the home of the whopper.
Yeah, okay. Now, can you point out the particular... I think I wrote down... Oh, my God. Dude, D comes through the...
Oh, 4 bucks. Sorry, Don. Dropped an F-bomb. Didn't mean to.
Oh, is that? Oh my god!
Oh my god! Whopper is actually in there. Oh, for Christ!
I will not allow Bellin to have it his way.
He also uses the word fib.
Oh my god!
Nice. I think his vocabulary budget is running out.
Get your salted,
Oh my
get your
God.
angry salted Whopper here with framing monsters.
Oh, good lord.
Your frame boiled Whopper.
Yeah, usually Middle East stories, it was a reward along with a hot babe that gets taken away by the villain. Then the hero must use trickery to get them back. Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Gotta get that ass.
Yeah.
Which means it's not just a white thing. Feminists.
It's all over the place. The fallout from Sokora's prophecy further suggests the razor-thin difference between lie and truth, war and peace. In the brief scene preceding Paris's enchantment, even the stalwart Sinbad expresses anxieties about Sokora's prophecy, his lover reassures him by creating, "I dream of the dangers he predicted, so you can rescue me." Their kiss dissolves to the scene of Perion in bed, where the dangers of Sokora predicted do indeed come true. The evil dreams he foresaw were realized. In this regard, even the most dreamlike fantastic element of the Baghdad sequence, Harryhausen's wildly imaginative snake woman, whom the Sultan and the Caliph do indeed call a dream, becomes part of the overriding sense of anxiety over foreign affairs, seduced into performing by Sokora's promise of power. Parisia's handmaid becomes a monstrous fusion of unlike parts that coexist peacefully but must rebel against each other. The Snake Woman thus dramatizes the dangers of trusting in unknown powers or bedfellows as she embodies the fear of literal entanglement within the beast's coils. What?
Okay, so
man.
actually, what I'm thinking when I hear Snake Woman is not Medusa, not Gorgon, but Naga.
Yeah.
Now.
So, okay, so
You had to say
book-
that very slowly.
Yeah.
So the book is about this thick. It's about this thick.
Holy!
Oh.
That's how thick it is?
Yeah, that's. Yeah.
Also, for that beard.
Yeah.
Uh,
Like, okay, this is weird. Just the weird interpretive, like, strange craziness of that last sentence, like, floored me.
yeah, I'm not surprised.
The portrait of the early movements of the Seventh Voyage Draw, then, is one of a world marked by inexplicable forces, doubts over the validity of one's perceptions and judgments, and above all, reservations about the location, event, and uses of power. It may be tempting to attribute these features to flaws within the film script, or its desire to flay the inscrutable Oriental hobby horse.
You know,
Okay, what?
I'm not surprised by how worse this gets.
Yeah,
I'm just horrified.
Hobby horse. I wish I were joking.
What does that even mean?
I probably like beat a dead horse. Probably it's probably something.
Oh God, no, please.
However, not only is each of these dismissals a mere excuse packaged as an explanation, but both overlook that the film's incongruities, far from being quirks, are so consistent and insistent that they constitute the very texture of the film's discourse. So basically, this film's screwed up, and so they become part of the film's thesis.
Oh yeah, the film's incongruent, not the fact that you're pulling this stuff out of your ass. That
which
have
you
no
are, by
basis
the way.
on actual myth.
Yeah. Consider, for instance, how often the film raises questions about power. Who's in command of the great crossbow? A sailor asked. I do not understand the power of this lamp, Sinbad says. And moments later, he asks Sakura, What protects your castle from the Cyclops? Consider, too, how frequently expectations are reversed. Confident that convicts can do nothing against him, Sinbad is proved wrong, almost dead wrong, in the very next shot. Conversely, twitting Sakura's board ship. Twitting. What? Okay.
Twitting?
What? Yeah, he says twitting.
Oh my
let me see.
God.
Twitting. Tease or taunt someone, especially in a good-humored way.
I would not say that's good humored.
It sounds like twittering.
Oh, wow.
And we can all attest that Twitter is not good natured.
No.
Board ship. The rebellious conflicts are nearly destroyed by harpies in the scene that follows. Okay. These things do not raise questions about power. These are just basic questions that somebody just asks. It doesn't represent a theme in the movie, you idiot. Okay. Given the film's outward candor, the fact that much of what the characters find wrapped in intolerable obscurity the audience can plainly observe, the prodigies that suffuse Seventh Voyage cannot be passed off as the necessary atmosphere for an exotic quinoctic.
What?
Spell, please.
Quixotic.
Quixotic. I've heard the word before. Give me a second.
Here it is. Quixotic. Exceedingly idealistic, unrealistic, and impractical.
Use one of those.
Please.
Practical.
Rather, the aura of dark intimidation serves the function is the idiom of the film's unmistakable disquiet over the conditions of the real.
But me referring monsters. Me reading monsters 1 second later, just scrolling through a freaking dictionary.
Toward this end, it is notable that the most fantastic elements of Seventh Voyage, the magician Sokora, the genie Barani, and the animated monsters not only enable the anxieties about power to be most fully activated within the film world, but resist penetration or resolution by the audience as well. Of the villains of the three Sinbad films, Sokora is the most enigmatic. His motivations throughout the film, though they may appear straightforward, are in truth notably murky. After his initial rescue, he attempts to bribe Sinbad into returning to Colossa. He announces grimly and with finality, "There is nothing I would not do to regain the lamp." Yet, as he speaks this line, his face in close-up passes into shadow, indication that his motives, if evil, are oddly unaccountable. No, it means that he's evil. There's no, hidden substance. Meaning. Yeah, you're looking at this as though they're weirdly interpretive art pieces, but they're not. They're just simple adventure movies, and you're reading into it because you're utterly useless to society.
You know what?
And you have no cognitive dissonance leading you to do this.
You know what I'm thinking of right now? That meme image of Office Space of Ron and those two, Samir and Michael Bolton just beating the shit out of a printer. I want to replace those images with us and replace the printer with Joshua David Bellin in this book.
Alrighty. We'll try to get through the next 15 or so pages in the next 30 minutes.
Jesus fucking Christ.
Good luck.
Good luck to us.
Yeah. Thankfully, okay. As Sinbad attributes the sorcerer's desire for the lamp as a kind of madness. His life is distorted with the single driving wish. But this explanation simply rephrases what is readily observable. The Sakura wants the lamp very, very much. Yeah, no crap, it's got a genie in it.
And 3 wishes, at least, depending on what the lore behind it is.
At another point, Sinbad terms him ambitious, but ambitious for what? Again, for the lamp. Yet with all the films focused on the lamp, it is worth asking what Sokora plans to do with the lamp should if he should regain it. He is already a remarkably powerful figure with the ability to effect dramatic physical metamorphosis with the mere application of a potion, as in the transfiguration of the snake woman.
Wishes! You moron! Who would not want 3 wishes that they can do almost anything with, depending on what the rules the genie operates under?
My first wish would be to wish for more wishes.
That would be stupid. No.
I wish you would not grant me this wish. Kaboom!
I would basically ask. I think initially I would just kind of ask for an unlimited bank account. That would be the first thing I would do.
Yes.
Because like that way I never have to worry about money again.
Therefore, you could.
And I would just be smart about like buying out various companies.
Maybe they could also bribe. Maybe you could also bribe Brandon to let you into a super secret villain lair.
Oh, I don't need to bribe it. All I need to do is be there or when they're helping out. Let me see. He's pretty open about it. As long as you like for like just my family's just gone in, like, and I just missed it. Since I was either streaming with Smut Boy or some other thing.
You missed a chance to go to the super secret lair.
What?
He is okay, or the mere look of his eyes, as in the animation of the skeleton, and the lamp, as he himself announced, has merely protective powers. The man who holds this treasure is safe from any danger. Does he intend then to use the lamp to protect himself in his island lair? Presumably his desire for protection explains his dragon watchdog. Okay, this guy is a dragon. Cool. Though at that, the dragon is an undependable guard, since the magician has placed the mechanism that binds the beast where anyone can access it. Okay.
Wait, does he mean a literal dragon, or like the 5 bad band version of the dragon?
Just the dragon. Probably a dragon guard.
I am the dragon!
Yeah. Sakura's motivations are thus left unsettled. For all the flair and menace of his presence, his character refuses to satisfy any straightforward summary. That just means he's poorly written. That
Which I doubt. I actually doubt he's that poorly written.
I would agree. But yeah, but this is the 1970s. Not very many good films, or especially not blockbuster films, are coming out during this time period.
Then the standard of writing was not as.
Yeah, the fact that this movie is remembered for special effects.
This is 1977 when Star Wars came out. That's all I'm saying about that.
Star Wars is kind of an anomaly. I think.
And
even Star Wars is not like A New Hope is not all that well written. Like there's lots of there's dialogue problems, and the acting in some points is not good.
Or at the very least, Star Wars is not Blade Runner.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What we're looking at is basically just like it hadn't gotten sophisticated yet. Like Planet of the Apes, Dawn of the Planet of the Apes and the Planet of the Apes, the recent Planet of the Apes prequel trilogy are an example of really sophisticated blockbusters. Let me see. Further complicating this doubtful portrait of the film's presumed villain is the fact that Sinbad needs Sakura. Though he is the source of the problem, he is also its only solution. If then the hero seems overly forgiving, or even a bit dense, failing to suspect Sakura of enchanting the princess, following his advice when Sakura suggests they split up in the Valley of the Cyclopses, and sticking with the magician even after the latter leaves him to his fate in the Cyclops cage, there is a more simple explanation for the captain's behavior. As Sinbad says, we have no choice. There is, at that, an unspoken bond between hero and villain despite or because of their mutual mistrust. For both men, the other's presence is both intolerable and invaluable. Sinbad cannot reclaim his beloved without Sakura, who cannot reclaim his beloved without Sinbad. Thus, when on the Mountain of the Rock, hero and villains share a meaningful look after Sinbad saves Sakura from falling, there is a hint to their acknowledgement of their inseparability. Each man's uncomfortable but inescapable need to fulfill the other's pleasure in order to secure his own.
Phrasing!
Yeah.
What?
Phrasing!
Yeah.
Oh,
What the?
I know that is not how it was meant, but oh my god, phrasing, Bellin!
What did he say? I wasn't paying attention.
Okay, what he said was, each man's uncomfortable but inescapable need to fulfill the other's pleasure in order to secure his own.
Knock knock, who's there? Phrasing. Who's phrasing? Phrase your sentence right.
Because that could be taken in so many ways that you did not intend.
It gets better. It gets fucking better. Okay.
I bet it absolutely does.
What the portrayal of Sakura suggests then is the difficulty of penetrating the riddle of power within the middle of the
I would also take the meme of the guy going,
In such an unsettled state of intelligence, strange coalitions sprung of necessity can short-aid the course of nations. Along these lines, it is noteworthy that the subject of Sakura's quest, the lamp, is itself possessed of uncertain power, both in terms of its value for the men who command it, and in terms of its hold over the being that it inhabits.
Uncertain power? There's a genie in that freaking lamp.
Yeah, so it might be different. Let's read on. Sakura claims, of course, that in protection, the lamp's powers are invincible. But no sooner has he spoken this line than the camp cuts to the wily Cyclops casting a rock over the invisible barrier the genie has erected, causing Sinbad's life post to capsize and Sakura to lose the very source of power of which he had just been boasting.
I'm sorry, the genie's powers is invincible?
Apparently, let's keep going.
But then the Cyclops threw a rock at the
Bellin, I
genie's
think you mean Bellin, I think you mean omnipotent. Omnipotent.
Yes, I know.
As such as a man seeks pleasure.
This guy needs to work on his phrasing.
Yeah.
But if you worked on his Neph, look on the bright side. If you worked on his phrasing, would we have the comedy we have before us now?
Not worth it.
No. Yeah. Nor is the lamp's power, however, functional, readily available. Even if the bearer knows the incantation to conjure the genie, he or she must possess the time and leisure to set the lamp down, rub it, and produce a lengthy formula. Phrasing.
We need a counter of how many gay jokes we could have made.
Here's a new challenge, everyone. For every word that's done speaks, take a shot.
No.
Would we get drunk or drown?
No, I'm afraid we'd kill ourselves if we did that.
Yeah, we'd be dead. We'd be dead.
Yeah. And every time. Oh my gosh.
Is it suicide if we do that or no? Because I still want to go to heaven, and I don't want to be nigh because
let's go with involuntary manslaughter.
Involuntary man's laughter.
Let's see. Let me see. What? We'd be dead. We'd be dead of alcohol poisoning within the first 5 fracking minutes.
Alcohol poisoning? I drink so much soda, not 3 days.
Okay, but it has to be something strong. Don't get beer, get liquor.
Yeah. That such propitious circumstances propitious. That's an interesting word.
What?
What does that even mean?
It's like
P-R-O.
propitiates, but
propitious?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, spell it right quick.
Prop.
It's like you pay for it.
Okay, here it is. Giving or indicating a good chance of success. Favorable.
Use favorable, you moron.
Yeah.
Well,
having such moments, just moments before learning the summoning spell from Parisia, is powerless to employ it when the parent rock attacks, unable to spit out the final word of the genie's jingle. He loses it.
The genie's jingle.
He loses the land. Okay, I have to show this.
oh my god, that's how you can tell how good this is when Dunn is going to show us his handsome face.
Oh yeah. Genie's
Jingle.
phrasing!
Jingle.
I just thought of, after swallowing his SAT cards, why does he use the word jingle?
Also,
let's see.
Rub it and pronounce a lengthy formula.
Oh my god, still phrasing. Oh my god.
Oh yeah.
I wonder, how many times are we going to have to go phrasing from now on?
yeah. In the
I bet it would be a fun drinking game.
He loses the lamp in the attempted recovery of which Harufa, the captain's first mate and best friend, dies as slain. Okay, so it's going with cliche. The map itself then is a mixed blessing. Not only is it subject to the pattern of reversals I noted previously, with the appeal to its power followed immediately by that power's defeat, and it is an awkward and inconstant ally at best. For the lamp's resident, likewise, its power is neither absolutely certain nor absolutely desirable, like the genie in Disney's Aladdin. Barini provides a point of focus for which Alan Nadell terms an anxiety and confusion about the source, use, and legitimacy of power in the Arabian world.
No.
What?
I did not understand a single word of what the hell was just stated.
Neither did I, but no.
Basically, it's that the genie is representative of anxiety of the source, use, and legitimacy of power of the Arab world.
No!
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 No! No!
Alrighty, we'll read for another 10 minutes and then I gotta hop off.
Okay.
Fair. Yeah. I'm not in anybody, so why would I be hopping up? Why is that bad phrasing?
Are you sure you're not writing something right now?
I can neither confirm nor deny that.
My dear Wolf, you know not to ask things like that.
Sorry, Mr. Neph.
I ain't writing anything, no worries.
I at least accept my apology for my indecent behavior.
Corrections, writing our ass over this book, so let's go.
Do you forgive me, Mr. Neph, for my otherwise common language?
Yes. I'll be quiet so we can listen.
Yeah. On the one hand, though Ani arguably possesses the greatest power in the film, he is merely a child unsure of its abilities. I shall try, master, I shall try, is his doubtful refrain whenever he is commanded to act. On the other hand, whatever his power, rather than being liberated by it, he is oppressed by and confined by it. Though it may be true, he tells Parisia that a genie knows many things. He lacks basic understanding of his own condition, possessing only the indecipherable riddle that illuminates his prison wall, and that must, in lack of its illumination, torment him daily. It is indeed, perhaps, because Barani has lived with or under great power, seen its effects and limitations, and experienced its inequalities and paradoxes, that he is so uncomfortable with its exercise. Initially reluctant to teach Parisia the invocation that will call him forth, saying falteringly, I like you, but it's a great power to grant. yields only when Parisha promises to bind herself to him in joint obligation. 2. Freeing the genie involves speculation and risk. I don't know whether that's a typo because he says TOO.
Two-fering the genie?
2, freeing the genie itself involves speculation
freeing
of
the
it.
Only Ninja's asking us to stop with the bedroom talk.
I'm not in somebody phrasing. That was deliberate.
I'm not stopping with the bedroom talk.
Yeah. Okay. Parisha has no certainty that the law of pit truly represents the fiery rock of Barani's impressionistic poem, and in casting the lamp into the pit, she places herself and her lover in continued danger from the magician, the dragon, and it turns out the second Cyclops. Thus, the role is of an uncertain power one's actions arise within and from a radically incomplete perception of their ramifications. Turning to Harryhausen's animated creations, a similar air of ungraspable power, promise, and threat prevails. Again, the film's principal animated figure, the Cyclops, may serve as a point of entrance to these issues. By Harryhausen's account, the pop-eyed grimacing giant is designed to resemble the Thief of Baghdad's Conrad Gelt, whom the animator considered the very incarnation of evil. Yet, far from being an incarnation of evil or of anything, the Cyclops, like Sakura, is motivated by more complex, even arcane impulses that may initially appear. At first, the Cyclops seems to be a lumbering, bellowing brute, motivated, one assumes, by nothing more subtle than animal hunger. Yet this impression is belied by Harryhausen's subsequent development of the character. For example, the Cyclops captures a lamp, it cradles the prize to its chest, looking jealously over its shoulder within a fine piece of animated acting, and a piece that raises doubts about the character as a whole. Does the Cyclops... It's just an animal. Animals like shiny things, you complete moron.
He is
Do
just
I
a
need to
moron.
remind you that Cyclops are cannibals?
Well, it
Because
depends
he's not
on
just a
this.
clown. This
Well, it
man is
depends
the entire...
Well, it depends, but this film, like this, in this era, they kind of shied away from showing like any kind of gore in films.
Well, yeah, but that doesn't stop the fact that canonically, Cyclops eat people.
Yeah, in mythology, yes, but in the world of this film, maybe they don't.
Yeah, remember the Odyssey where the Cyclops like started eating some of his men by 2 every hour or so?
There were 2 every day that were consumed.
Until nobody kicked his ass.
Yeah.
Yeah. Does the Cyclops in fact desire the lamp? If so, why? Simply because, like the other treasures is collected in its cave, the lamp is a bright, shiny object. Maybe. Or does the Cyclops recognize that the lure of treasure will be one of its sources of food, human beings within its reach? I don't know, I don't care. That the lamp serves only as bait, however, seems unlikely. When the Cyclops is roasting Harufa on the split, it deserts a meal already in hand to investigate the clattering it hears in its treasure chamber. So it's been confirmed that the Cyclops are cannibals. Great, we can go with that.
Yeah. Keep going, please.
Alrighty, let's finish. Okay, so can it be then that the Cyclops is more human than Sorika recognizes or grants? That the creature is, like the greedy, gluttonous sailors, torn between conflicting desires for gold and for grub? His phrasing, not mine. Okay, this feels like hello, fellow kids at this point.
How you doing, fellow gamers?
How else to complain the complete human skeletons dangling in one of its cages? Captives left alive, not eaten, but left to die? ? No, it's a design. No, it's just to be scary. Or can it even be Can it even be on the outer edge of possibility that Cyclops, for its own obscure reasons, longs to bring succor within its power, and that its seizure of the lamp was designed for just that purpose, to capture Sinbad's men being only a salutary byproduct of the scheme? These questions are impossible to answer, and in fact, I am not suggesting that one attempt to answer them to settle on what motivates a massive blubber and ball bearings. Okay.
What's with the alliteration?
I don't know. I am suggesting, however, that rather than viewing the incongruity of the Cyclops in negative terms, as when Harryhausen's creatures are accused of occupying walk-on roles, their relation to the plot less keen than their occasion for the master to work his will, the uncertainty of the characters' motivations should not be isolated from the seventh voyage as a whole. Rather, the opacity of this central animated figure is consistent with the film's skepticism regarding the stability or clarity of power, identity, and causality of the Arab world. If Harryhausen's monsters are central to the film's deployment of Orientalist binary, at the same time they are crucial in extending the film's historical resonant discourse. The discourse is not hushed by the film's end. For all the genre pressures to warp the adventure tidily, a sense of unsettledness lingers. The concluding image, for instance, inverts the opening shot. This time the ship sails away from the camera, so that the resolution is achieved through renunciation, not only of Colossa, but of the narrative itself, which merely returns to the point at which it began. I don't care.
Who cares?
Mm-hmm. The world of Colossa, moreover, remains terra incognita. The best the captain can do is bid it farewell, sailing away from the bad dream that had haunted him and his fiancée. Yet, the destiny to which the couple sails is still uncertain. Baghdad and Condor remain a single mishap away from war. The wedding has not been consummated, and at that, the vista into which the voyagers sail is amphibious, legible as either sunset or sunrise. The conclusion of the seventh voyage thus epitomizes the 1950s era discourse on the Arab world as a place of inscrutable powers and uncertain commitments, retaining no obligations to the world they left behind, its only legacy being the accidental attainment of the material wealth the hero had initially resisted. Sinbad and his bride-to-be observe toward the castle of the Isle of the Colossa, a stance neither of surety nor of a hostility, but of a suspicion and fiercely guarded neutrality. Oh, that's perfect. We're about to talk about the sequel.
No!
Oh, come on!
Well, we'll call it a day there.
Okay. How many pages do we have left?
We're at 93.
Oh.
Okay, so we have almost a little over. We have 12 pages left. We can do that.
Okay, so I actually thought of something fun that we could do on Wednesdays, or at least for a little bit. I'm actually writing another book, and I am thinking that we could do the creative process live.
Ooh, yes, that would be fun.
I have a few ideas initially, and I've written most of the prologue. I'm just going to be kind of working out the plot, since I'd like to make this kind of a longer form series, not just a trilogy, and kind of see what I can do with kind of longer form storytelling. And I'd like to work through you guys, work with you guys to kind of form something. I have a few ideas, and I've got a cast list mostly created, and a few vague ideas of what I would like to do. And I'm just kind of work out what is in the story, and we can kind of work through things together. That sound like a good plan?
Sounds wonderful.
But we will start
the greatest plan ever.
But we will do next Wednesday, because this Monday we're going to do Confused Matthew again.
You mean this Wednesday?
this Wednesday we're doing Confused Matthew. That's what I said.
Lion King?
Is
Yeah,
this the Lion King video?
Yes.
Yes! Yes! Yes, yes, yes.
Yes. Oh my god, I cannot wait at all.
So shall we watch? So we do an hour and a half like EFAP thing, or shall we do one then the other another week?
Let's Confused Matthew's gonna take us a little bit longer than you expect.
Yeah. Confused Matthew's going to take a while. We should probably keep them separate.
The RX-78-2 has a word for all of us and all of the stuff that we've been reviewing.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. Nice.
What did we do to you? What did I ever do to you?
That was
we've been reviewing some stupid crap. Yeah.
Yeah, that's for all the stupidness we have to put up with.
And in advance for Confused Matthew.
Yes.
Oh, geez. What does he want now?
Let me write down something right quick. I guess I'm going to show you, Drake.
Well.
This is my notes on. Where's my pen? I think I'll have a pen over here.
So Smudcast is going to watch Dread today, and Smud accidentally downloaded the 1995 version with Sylvester Stallone.
I heard the other Dread was actually pretty good.
Oh, yeah, the 2012 one? I've heard nothing but good
things.
Yeah,
the Carl Urban one.
Yeah, apparently, like, everybody's so, like, its fans are still petitioning to get a sequel made.
Or just another story with the same team behind it.
Yeah, because it was really good, but it didn't make any money, partially because Avengers was out. And Dark Knight Rises.
Double ouch.
Yeah, Avengers was good at least.
Yeah.
Yeah, at least there was that.
Yeah, 2012 movies list. When did Dread come out? Oh, Looper came out that year.
Oh, God.
And
which one was that?
Time Travel
That's a
movie.
Ryan Johnson film, which is
Ryan Johnson and time travel. My favorite thing.
Yeah, Skyfall also came out that year, the highest grossing Bond film of all time.
Oh, nice.
So, let's see, 2012 in film. I'm trying to look for, like, the highest grossers.
Okay.
Let's see. Let's see, but when did Dread come out? Oh, ouch. Underworld Awakening came out in January.
Oh, wow.
Did you get that, Drake?
Ghost Rider 2 came out that year. Wow, John Carter came out that year. That was a...
Oh, God.
Wow, Wrath of the Titans also came out that year. Meh.
I don't know why, but it's like whenever I see something live action and Greek related, I just have a feeling it's not going to be all that good.
Yeah.
Like, I love Greek mythology, but I think that a lot of movies tend to bastardize it, or very least just don't do it right.
Well, the Hercules and Xena live action stuff in the 90s was good. And they were actually pretty well done, considering.
Yeah. So, Dread 2012.
That's about Hercules.
Okay, that came out in September. Let's see what its competition in September was. Oh, it had Raiders of the Lost Ark IMAX experience, Finding Nemo 3D, House of the End of the Curve, Perks of Being a Wallflower, Hotel Transylvania, Looper, and it was also probably like the aftershocks of Avengers, I believe. And I imagine that, Dark Knight Rises came out in July and was probably still in theaters at this point.
Jesus.
So This was and then Skyfall. Oh, the Bourne Legacy came out in August as well. Sinister came out in October. And in October, Skyfall came out. So yeah, no. Let's see. What were the highest films? Were Avengers, Skyfall, Dark Knight Rises, The Hobbit, Ice Age: Continental Drift, Twilight, Breaking.
Oh my God!
Spider-Man,
Really?
Twilight Breaking Dawn Part 2.
Ugh.
The Amazing Spider-Man, Madagascar 3, The Hunger Games, and then Men in Black 3.
How did Twilight make bank?
Because of horny soccer moms. Horny housewives. It's the same reason.
How does anyone think these films are good?
I wish I knew.
Yeah.
I wish I knew.
Well, anyway, my friends, we will reconvene in a couple hours to watch the first episode of the Dracula miniseries.
I'll catch up on you. I'll catch up with you guys tomorrow.
Alrighty. Well, and we'll try and fill you in. It's mostly the same. They'll just be like little bits and pieces.
All right, so I'll come on tomorrow then.
Alrighty. I just want to get it done by Thursday when we do our Dracula. We'll probably just make it I'll probably just shift it to just Dracula stream, because do werewolves another time.
Yeah, that's probably a better idea.
Yeah, since that's a lot. But now I must tell you all fair chat, best chat, lovely chat to
Holy shit. Okay, we're going. Go!